All right, guys, thank you so much for coming today. This is Taylor with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today we're going to go over campaigns within Command. Feel free as we go to throw your questions into the chat. I'm going to do my very best to watch that and answer as we go. If by chance I don't answer your question or you think of one later, feel free to email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. You can always rewatch these recordings as well on our YouTube channel. So first, we're going to start by logging into Command. So you're going to go to agent.kw.com. We're going to enter our username here, usually your first initial, last name, and a number, but that can vary depending. And then enter your password and sign in. And then once that loads, the first thing that we recommend doing is going to make sure that your social media is connected and your marketing profile is up to date. So we're going to go over here in the upper right-hand corner and go down to settings. And if you are following along, for using Command, we recommend Google Chrome or an incognito window in Google Chrome, or perhaps Firefox. We've seen that Command typically interacts with those two browsers best. And then on your main settings page, you'll see connected apps. For me, I have already connected my Facebook account twice for both Ads Manager and post scheduling. If you haven't already, this may be further down on your settings. But what you'll want to do is hit connect account for any of those social media accounts that you want to connect, especially if for campaigns you're wanting to use social media management. So I don't have a Twitter, but I will show you by clicking this what kind of pops up. If you connect the account, it'll take you to a login page. Same thing for Facebook. And once you log in and authorize the app, it'll then come back here and say connected. After that, we're going to come over here on the left-hand side to connect settings and marketing profile. If you've been on any of our other classes, you know that we always suggest checking your marketing profile, just making sure that everything in there is up to date. Headshot, if you have a team logo. If not, we recommend having maybe the office logo. Depending on what you're sending out, you don't want a dead image that looks like something is missing when you send something out. Come down here and check all of our information. A slogan is a required field. If you haven't come up with something, feel free just to enter a space until you have come up with something. We've got our bio. Market center information. And then down here is optional, but this is another social media connection where if you want the links to be live on any marketing that you send out, you want to include your URL for your social media accounts here. And once you have any of that information that you want updated and saved, we're going to first start in designs, because typically creating a design first will then bring you back to campaigns. So just as an overview of the campaigns platform, this is your main screen, and you'll see here connected social media accounts. We've got, for my paid ads, this page is connected, and social posts. I've connected the office because I am an admin. However, if you are not Market Center staff, but you are an agent, typically you will have your business Facebook page here rather than the Keller Williams logo. Like I said, if you're coming in a little bit late and I happen to miss your questions in the chat, we do have a YouTube channel. If you look up Scott Leroy Marketing on YouTube, you can subscribe to all of this, and we have classes that we post here. We have quick tips and any other helpful links that you can search for. Once we have our connected channels, you'll see on this main dashboard that you have quick posts. So something that you can easily post to social media, that you don't have to worry about creating the material yourself. You also have tips and training down here. And you can toggle this advanced tip and have a little more advanced training available to you. Here is our dashboard for any paid ads that you've posted. You can see, have not created any, but as you create those, you can see everything you've ever posted, a year, month, the last 30 days, or the past week. And you have all of these statistics based on the ads that you've ran, how many leads came from them, how much money you've spent on the ads, all of that information. If we come over to emails, again, I have not created any, but this is where you would see all of those. And we'll see what those look like. We'll make a draft so that you can see how that populates. And if you've set up a MailChimp account, you can toggle between which channel you've sent it out with. You can also create email lists. So here is where we really emphasize, when you're tagging your contacts, to be specific and tag as much as you want, because that makes filtering for these campaigns so much easier when you are making an email that you want to go out to a specific list. Maybe you tag people as you find out that they enjoy gardening. And so you want to send out an email campaign for tips on gardening in the summer months, or whatever you want to come up with. Direct mail, any postcards that you want to send out, will also go through sending one of these and setting it up. But this is what it can look like. Obviously, mine are drafts. I never actually paid and sent them out, but you'll be able to see all of those statistics as well. How many people received it, how many leads came from them, and how much money you spent on those campaigns. And social posts. This is just another section. You can see a week, you can see a month. So any ads that you schedule, you'll be able to see on this calendar. We have another quick post option here, so you can just hit the share and that will be able to go out without much tailoring specifically. They're generic, but we'll take a look at one quick post. So you'll be able to see the text here, and it does give you the option, since this is going on social media, to add emojis. Just a little more eye-catching if that's your thing on social media. And it gives you the option here to upload an image. And this is where designs will come back in and we'll actually create images to add. You can also upload an image if it's not something that you made in designs. You can upload a video either by file, dragging and dropping, adding a URL, or a neighborhood video, which is also available in designs for a quick 30-second neighborhood statistic, cute little video. Or a link to another site or anything that you want to add to this post. And you can position where you want your DBA logo. If I put mine on the right, it looks like it's kind of overlapping. So we maybe want to put that on the left. And then while you do have the option to schedule, if you didn't want to wait and you were like, oh no, I meant to send this out already, we need something to go out today, whatever it is, whatever your social media plan is, you do have the option to still publish immediately to run the ad. And then your connected accounts will show up down here. You also have this. So here's the preview of what your post is going to look like. And we're going to just save that as a draft. So this is what it looks like if it's saved as a draft, but if it were to be live and scheduled, it would show up on the calendar whichever day we scheduled that for. So then to start one of these other campaigns, we're going to go into designs, and you're going to see the same general options when you go to create a design, either email, social post, that will also go for scheduling or paid ads. If you wanted to do print, which we do have another marketing class for print marketing that we will teach next month, so feel free to come to that. So we're not going to do print very much today. And then video is that option for the neighborhood snap. And I've actually created one right here already. So when we add a video to an ad, we can use that one. We're going to start with a social post. So once we've selected what we want, we're going to hit continue. And then once that loads, that pulls us into the templates. So all of these different options are templates that you can use without having to completely recreate something, but you can completely customize it. So we're going to do a just sold for this example. And then once those load, you can see as you scroll, more just keep coming. There's tons of options for you. And you can filter based on which kind of social media you want to use. So social wide, those would typically be more for like a Facebook post or maybe a cover photo. Social square, those are more designed for Instagram, but will also work on Facebook without being cut off too much. Or social stories, if you're someone that is very involved with adding to your story, they just make it a little bit longer than a normal post. We're going to stick to one of the social wide designs. And once you've selected which one you want to use, you just hit the use button when hovering over it. In the other designs class and print marketing, we also go over setting up my assets in the initial designs applet. And these are going to be your frequently used photos. And that is the default when you come into a design to start editing. For this one, because we selected just sold and there's no headshot, I'm just going to work my way down and switch out my DBA logo. Resize that a bit. And then I'm going to come over here. And for this, because it's one text box, I'm going to pull that from KWLS. So looking for a specific listing. We're going to find the listing that we want and select it. And for this, because we're looking for the address, we're going to go to listing details and find property address and then replace. And then I'm going to either double click to type in this box or use the typewriter to just adjust that how I want it. And then select the image file, come back over here to the KWLS. And rotate that photo. If you're not happy with how that positioned, you can always reposition the photo with this icon up here. And then for this section, we're going to pretend that I've already used the typewriter to fix everything about this property. Like I said, we go over that in other classes within Designs 101. If you don't want to wait until our next class, you can catch that recording on our YouTube channel. But once we're done here and we're ready to post it, just make sure it saves. And we're going to go back to home. And then we're going to back out one more time to leave the designs applet. Oop. It looks like I'm in a never-ending loop. So we're going to retype in agent.kw.com and it takes us back to our homepage. So we just made our design. So we're going to come back to campaigns. Now for any advertisement that you want to do, if you don't have a listing, but you maybe want to advertise something or a specific property, we recommend asking your broker within your office, your compliance coordinator, to make sure that if your state has any restrictions on that, that you're staying compliant. But you do have the option within Command to use those listings that maybe aren't yours, as long as you're staying compliant. Like, for example, the house that I just used to create our design is not a listing that I have. So it does still pull that information for you. But we just recommend checking with your compliance coordinator to make sure that any posts that you are using are staying compliant and aren't, that way you don't get accused of false advertising. All right, so once we get back to campaigns, we're going to create a campaign. And we selected a social post. So that's the campaign we're going to use. And then we're going to type whatever we want for this post. And because we made this image in our designs library, we're going to select browse. And then it's going to pull up the options based on what we selected. And you'll see as you type in your text box or make any edits, it'll show up here on your preview on the right-hand side. Now here for cropping the image, if you were to create the square in your designs, that's the kind that you would pick here. However, we selected a social media wide template. So by selecting that, you can adjust as is. If you wanted to make a freestanding size, you can always do that as well with these boxes here. Crop image. And then your DBA logo, again, it's here. So mine, because I included it in my design, a little repetitive, but I also have it set up as my team photo as well. So you would just want to play around with that design. And then for scheduling this post, you can just select the day and time. And then the connected accounts that you would like it to go to. And then schedule post. And then once you come back up here, and check your calendar, you'll be able to see that we scheduled a Facebook post at 10:30, and you can click on it to preview the post. Next, we're going to create a direct mail campaign. So this would be sending out a flyer or a postcard. And you'll see kind of the same format. You're going to have your preview over here. So the overview, the name of the campaign and the goal. Content. You can either select a template within the campaigns, or you can upload a design if you'd like. This can be a little tricky as long as you have these postcard size in your template, it should upload just fine. If you have anything that's slightly off, it may take some manual adjusting, but it is possible. But we're going to select a template and we're going to do a 4x6. You also have the ability to do 6x9 or the 6x11 with different layouts. Enter text. And then typically, depending on what you're putting here, you don't need a lot of text. You still have a text limit down here. And then we are just going to choose our logo. Now, obviously, you would not put your logo here as that's going to be distorted, but I do not have a home photo saved. So we'll just real quick, just so that you guys can accurately see what that would look like. There we go. Now I would want to adjust this by picking either a different template or cropping the photo. But just for the sake of creating the campaign, we're gonna pretend like that's lined up. So once the content is there, and you'll see here, the just sold is what showed up here. Don't miss out on your dream home. It's right here. And the test is right here. So that's why there's a character limit. And it allows you to see both sides of your postcard. You do have the option to add a QR code for a landing page. And we do have the ability to create a specific page, let's say for this property. A lot of times you'll see like advertising an open house if someone wants information, or maybe you're sending out a postcard offering to do a market analysis on someone's property. You can allow them to come to a QR code for your contact us page on your website that then sends their contact information to your contacts in Command with whatever note is assigned that they want a market analysis, and then you can contact them. So landing pages can definitely be helpful and a tool if you want to do those. Market center information. This is where your DBA logo is, all of your office information. For whatever reason, the state and zip code do not stick. So you will always want to double check. Verify address. And then that information gets a check mark. And then targeting. This is where you, depending on what kind of campaign you're running, you can either target basically the area around either your listing or your open house, whatever it is that you're making the ad for. You can do that, or you can target my database so that you can send it to specific people in your database. Oftentimes we see that being used if you're creating an ad for an event that you're putting on and you want to send out invitations or something similar. But we're going to save that, and then the budget. So however many you want to send out, and the options, depending on the template that you're sending out, the cost will be different. You might have shipping differences, but this tells you your estimate based on how many cards you're sending out. So as you change this, you'll see your new estimate. And then you can save. And then you'll see it might take a moment for the preview to load here. But if I were to send that out, you would start seeing the statistics once they get ordered and processed. And then next, we're going to create an email. Create a campaign, and then email. We're going to actually do a market snap. And we're going to do another attract buyers. And then you can also choose where your campaign will run, either your Command email, so through Command itself, or a MailChimp account if you've connected that, and then create a campaign. And then this looks very similar to creating the direct mail campaign. So we've got our market snap. It's going to be sent through the Command email. And it'll tell you that it's being ran from this account. If you wanted to switch that, that's done in your Command settings. So that's down here that we went over at the beginning. Sorry about that. Send to, and your recipient list. This is where, again, we wanted to emphasize tags within your database, because you can name a specific list and look within your tags. So if I have people that I wanted to connect buyers to, all of these. So if there was a specific one, you could easily filter by that and select everyone rather than one by one adding the people that you'd like. Who it's coming from. Again, you can edit your name as it appears on your emails and your reply to email address in settings. And your subject. I'm from Oregon, so that's where we're going to go. Actually, we're going to use the Philida video that our neighborhood that we've already done in designs. And then this is where you connect designs. Because we're creating an email, you can come in here. This is the one email that I have already created in my designs. So we're going to come here. And then you can edit all of these. Some of these, we recommend a lot of these, what looks like a broken image, come to preview, and that's where you'll see how it appears. Another image. Like I mentioned before, we have another designs class that goes over in detail how to edit all of these things. So I'm not going to emphasize much of that. However, we are going to throw in here a couple of extra widgets. So let's say, because we're sending out a market snap and I've added all of my stuff in here, I'm going to then drag and drop a market snap here. Wherever your green line is, that's where it's going to drop. And when I select the market snap widget and come down here to the pencil and edit, and then you can change the header that appears up here. And I am not actually sure what the Philida zip code is. See if it pops up here. Okay. So I'm a little bit off as Philida is not popping up. So I'm just going to pretend that East Minnehaha is the neighborhood that we have made everything for. And once I've done that and hit done, you'll see that it auto updates with all of the statistics. And then, like I said, we're going to pretend that everything is updated the way we want it to look. I can do a preview on all of this. There's my Philida trends. And then as well as this preview, under options, you have the option to send a test email. And we always recommend sending a test email to yourself to make sure that everything lines up and looks the way you want before you pay to send out all of these emails. And I will add in there when you send out, okay, we're gonna, oops, sorry, when things are left as blank and not updated, you'll get those error messages when you go to send. But you'll be able to then see the email preview here after creating the design. And because I had to select to discard my changes, that's why you don't see the neighborhood snap, because I didn't take the time to find that merge field. However, here's another spot that you could spot check it. And then you can either send right away based on the email list that you've created, or you can schedule that to go out as well. And then that will pop up here. And then as people receive it, you'll see here how many people, as well as here, once you have more than one, you'll see who received it, how many people actually opened it, and how many people clicked on the links within it. And you'll see here, every command email account gives you 5,000 free emails per month. So if you exceed that, you can always upgrade your account to send out more. Just depends on how you're running campaigns. And it gives you that tracking as well. And then I'm gonna show you, since we went through most of our campaign information and a brief overview, like I said, we go through each of these, social media classes, Facebook ads. We've already posted that this month on our YouTube channel. And then we dove a little deeper into each of these sections. So I'm going to take a couple minutes here at the end of class to show you how to update that mail or that email reply to section in case you want it to come from a different email. So we're going to go back to our settings. And then usually towards the bottom is where you're going to see email services. And that's where your command email is going to most likely be connected, as well as your MailChimp account if you have one. So here for command email, we're going to hit manage. And you can change sender name if you want it to appear differently. And then your reply to email, you can add any of these emails. It pulls automatically from different areas within the KW platform. Or you can add a custom email. If it hasn't, still got caps lock, huh? If the email that you have or that you want to use is not already saved, you can add email and then that would update. And this also gives you your monthly account usage. Manage subscriptions if you wanted to upgrade that account. And then it gives you available plans as well for how much and how many emails that allows. But once your changes are already done, then you can close out. And now when you go back to your campaigns or smart plans or whichever direction you're sending out emails through command, that will be updated. I want to thank you guys so much for coming. Again, we will upload the recording of this class to our YouTube channel if you want to revisit any of the material. You can email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com if you have any questions that you think of afterwards.